I was 18 years old and living in Peru. I lived in Trujillo, more in the northern part of Peru, but I was traveling around with a group of, I think, 10 other people. We were a really big group. And we had arrived in Arequipa, a beautiful city in the southern part of Peru, surrounded by mountains. There really was something mystical about the place. We dropped our bags in our rooms in the hostel and we went to eat something outside in town. We stayed a bit longer for drinks, there was some music, and after we came back singing in the streets, being happy, enjoying our trip. We arrived back in our hostel, ready to rest, because tomorrow there would be another day. Then two of our friends arrived in their room, and they noticed the window of their room was open, and that something had changed in their room. Their bags were gone, and not only their small backpack, but their big travel bags, including their credit cards, passports, and everything. And what happened then was pretty interesting. I mean, now I can talk about it like that, but back then it was super intense. It didn't matter that the bags were from only two of our group, it shocked us all so deeply, and it made us feel unsafe. The interesting part to me was how different everyone reacted. We were with 10 or 11 people and there were a lot of different reactions. Someone was super angry and started hitting her fist on the wall. Someone else started crying and stating how unfair it all was. Some froze completely and didn't know what to do, and someone else became scared of the situation and was hiding in a room. And another person started taking care of all the upset ones. And someone else was still denying the situation and saying it wasn't possible, that that person was trying to get answers, Like, how could this happen and why? Other ones started to think practically. Okay, what do we need to do now? Okay, we need to call credit card stop. Okay, we need to call the embassy. We do X, we do Y, we do Z. And some also went down, shouting at the people of the hotel and asking them how this could have happened. Because, really, how could it have happened, And as you can hear, this experience was intense. We were still so young and trying to figure it out. Now, I share this story with you because it shows perfectly how everyone reacts very different to a situation. This has to do with who we are as a person, our personality, but also with what we experienced in our own lives and how we learned to deal with traumatic or difficult experiences. There's nothing wrong with every single reaction I just described. However, it is good to know from ourselves how we react in tense situations and what our triggers are. If you want to learn more about triggers, you can circle back to episode 8 of season 1. The name of that episode is Triggers Are Teachers, because they are. So, aside knowing how you react, it's also good to self-reflect about what helps you to come out of this activated state. It's always good, in my opinion, to give room to what you are feeling, to acknowledge it. And what I do want to say is that even though there is no reaction better than another one, some of the reactions are more helpful for the situation you are in. And that is what I want to talk about today. Because what happens is that we all experience challenges in our lives and difficult situations. In our personal lives, our relationships, around our work, our health, and so on. Life can be extremely hard to carry. And just as in the story, we also all react differently to challenges and things we experience. So, which reactions are unhelpful, you may ask? Well, all the reactions where you keep on making yourself a victim of the situation. And I want to clearly state again that all the reactions are completely normal and that it's good to be kind to ourselves and to give ourselves space and to validate the emotions that come with the situation. And also to observe where you stay in victimhood. But I am a victim when I experience something difficult. Yes, you are a victim of what happened or of what you experienced at that moment, but does that mean you need to stay a victim? How does that bring you forward? How does that help you? How does that make you feel? I know for some people this is hard to hear. Some people even may not agree. I know for myself that in some situations I can accept easier that I'm keeping myself a victim than in others. Some situations are really so unfair and painful that it almost sounds inhumane to say someone should step out of victimhood. The only reason why I'm making this episode and sharing this with you is because not keeping yourself a victim, stepping out of victimhood helps. What actually happens is that you shift your focus and bring back the power to yourself instead of giving the power to the situation or the other person. Let me give you an example. I once had a friend who lied to me, betrayed my trust severely. I was so angry and disappointed, and I grieved because I knew we wouldn't be able to stay friends. I lost my friend, and I was treated so unfairly. Now, my initial reaction was blaming him and searching for answers. Why did he do this? He caused all the problems. Because of him, I feel so bad. Poor me. Like, what did I do to deserve this? Is this how you treat a friend? It was still part of my anger and grief. At the same time, if I would have stayed in this energy, which is very much victimhood energy, it wouldn't have helped me in any way. I would have maybe talked with other people to hear over and over again how bad it was and how sorry they were for my situation. In a way, I would have kept myself stuck and in a destructive, stagnating energy loop. What I learned instead was to take responsibility for what was happening. No, I was not responsible for what happened. And yes, I was a victim of his betrayal. And yes, now I was responsible for how I was going to deal with the situation or react to it. After going through all the feels, I accepted the situation for what it was. Instead of waiting for an apology, blaming him, leaving the power out of my hands, I focused on me and on what I could do. And in that way, the power came back to me. Because if you keep on pointing the finger to the one thing that caused your problem, when you keep on saying, poor me, you can't really do much. What can you do? The power is out of your hands. You don't have control over someone else or the thing that happened. Stepping out of victimhood and saying, this awful thing happened to me, or is happening to me, but I'm not going to let it define me. There is real power in that. And once you are in that space, a whole new world of possibilities opens. You look at what you can do and can control. Maybe there are some things you can do to bring justice to the situation. Maybe there are ways how you can take care of yourself, rebuild your trust, make yourself stronger, learn from it. And so you can ask yourself, how can I move forward and take responsibility for my life? How can I control my actions and reactions? And just bringing consciousness to the whole situation, reflecting about it, already takes you out of the victim energy that very often happens unconsciously. I do want to say that I believe that when you go too quickly to that stage where you don't want to hang in the emotions and right away want to move forward, that this can be a pitfall too, or even a distraction of not needing to feel what happened. So it is really an and story. And you validate your emotions and take space there. And you don't sit in self-pity for too long, but go into self-empowerment by taking back control. And you know, when we have a dream or an idea that we want to bring in this world, sometimes we can already beforehand jump into victim consciousness. I don't have enough money. No one will support me. I'm not capable of doing it. No one is interested in what I have to offer. I've never done this, so it won't work out. I mean, all this negative self-talk is literally blocking you from what is possible. You just can't see it because these thoughts are in the way. So it's really good to check with yourself. Where in my life am I saying a version of, "Oh, poor me," and how can I reframe those thoughts? If you want to go completely into depth into yourself, learning to take responsibility, to come closer to yourself and who you are, and what you want to bring in the world, to learn how to deal with your fears and feeling of not being good enough, Rooted Within is for you. It's the ultimate preparation if you want to show and express yourself more, bring your authentic self out in the world, bring your idea, dream into the world. You find all the information in the show notes if you're ready to go on this multiple transformative online journey. Can't wait to have you there. Thank you for listening. Bye.